Here's your forecast from the First Alert Weather Team.
All right, let's jump right in and let's talk impacts. What we can expect, mainly for us, this is turning into a locally heavy rain event, aside from the obvious, which would be heavy surf and rip currents offshore. That threat's going to continue for a good chunk of the week ahead. We know those distant strong hurricanes are classic rip current generators. Along the coast, also some 30+ mile per hour wind gusts. Not seeing a whole lot of evidence, albeit it's slim, of some tropical storm force winds. The odds of that really developing overall on a grander scale much lower now that this system is likely to take another turn off to the east before it even gets near the Carolina latitude. So some good news there. Let's talk rainfall though. Yeah, a lot of rain in a short amount of time. We're at a deficit, yes, but when we get this much in a short period of time, that's where we have some of those flooding concerns, mainly off to the south, but still pretty widespread. 2 to 3 to locally 5 to 6 inches along the coastline. We may have locally higher amounts. That's evidence with our in-house rainfall model as we take you from now all the way through Monday, all the way into Tuesday. We'll say manageable 2 to 3 inch rainfall amounts there. And then we take you through the rest of Tuesday, 5, even some 6-inch spots. You'll see right along the coast some of these little yellow portions kind of picking up there. Let's talk winds now. Again, the threat of tropical storm force winds, I don't think as big a concern here as we look at not just wind fields from what will be a developing Imelda, but also off to the east of that, Umberto, a formidable major hurricane at this point. But you see the odds of those tropical storm force winds very slim, like single percentages, a better chance of that off to areas in the south like Myrtle Beach. But if you're along the coast, still going to want to keep an eye on things. Still can't rule out some minor beach impacts as a result of this. For the time being, a lot of the showers staying offshore, and that's great news. Considering what we've been tracking the last couple of days. Now, eventually we're going to get our chance at some rainfall. In fact, let's model that out for you. Here's this afternoon. Numerous clouds, some off and on showers. The odds not sky high today, but still about 30 to 40%. You might consider some of those plans inside. And here come those rain bands, again, mainly from offshore. During the pre-dawn hours, could be a little bit on the heavy side, even through the afternoon and evening. So the rain gear a must tomorrow, a rain gear a must for Tuesday. And you can see where some of these heaviest clusters are going to wind up through Monday and Tuesday, mainly along the coast. Inland zones, I think, going to be spared a little more, but we're talking inches of rain in a short amount of time. It'll certainly make up for the rainfall deficit. But boy, it's going to be tricky. I want to go wider now, show you that same model and show you how future Imelda will come into play. In addition to that, a very strong and formidable Hurricane Umberto. So again, pulling in some of those feeder bands of moisture, but a direct eye-wall impact for us in the Carolinas, trending much more unlikely. And as mentioned, strong and formidable storm with 155 mile per hour maximum sustained winds, gusts up to 190. Let's look at that forecast track cone individually now for these. But because of that strength, it's going to find an avenue to hook to the north and eventually race away. And in doing so, bringing that Fujiwara effect kind of into play here. And there's Tropical Depression 9. Again, still getting its bearings as it starts to lift north of the Bahamas, but expected to become Imelda probably tonight based on the latest timing and modeling. But you see the track here. And again, if you have not been paying attention to the weather the last couple of days, this is quite the change, perhaps from what you saw late last week. And even on social media, those algorithms, for some reason, will pump in days-old information. It doesn't help you out on the weather side of things, but eventually an avenue to the north. Now, we know that those impacts expand beyond the forecast cone. That's Coneology 101, so that's why we're still looking at those heavy rain bands and also the dangerous surf and marine impacts there. Let's bring things back to the here and now. It's downtown Wilmington, our Easy Pro Express First Alert Skycam. We're on top of the Murchison building. It's cloudy, it's 74, but for the time being, not a whole lot in terms of shower activity. It's humid though, those dew points in the lower 70s. You're heading to the beach today, upper 70s. Probably best to keep an eye on things in the water, but conditions going to gradually disintegrate there in the water. In fact, here's that rip current risk. the next few days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Just best to keep it out of the water, even if you're in a boat. Well, especially if you're in a boat and heading offshore, just not a good idea. High tide's coming up here in the 12 o'clock hour for the coast and about 2:40 for downtown and Battleship Park. The marine forecast, yeah, no particular advisories today, but be cautious, especially off to the south. Those likely going to get kicked up here to some storm warnings before too long. So here's the planning forecast. 70s in the meantime for temperatures, so a little bit of a break from that summer-like heat and those pop-up storms. But also notice here, rain at first alert weather days dropped back from Wednesday. So Monday and Tuesday are the main days you got to be weather aware, and gradually we'll see skies clear, conditions settle down, and we'll say a little cooler than normal as we head through the balance of the weekend into next weekend. Back to you.